So let me tell you what happened. So originally, I called it Tritypes until I heard that Oscar Ichazo, after my initial findings, had started adding Trifix to his teachings and was giving people their Trifix. So I happened to have the good fortune of talking to Jack and Andrea, they had the Enneagram Monthly. They were creating a newspaper for the Enneagram, and it was great. And they went and interviewed Ichazo, and he told them their Trifix. So that was meaningful for me to hear at two different places. And then just a couple of months later, I was at a Northern California chapter of the IEA, and there was a teacher from Eureka Institute based on the work of Oscar Ichazo, a nonprofit, that mentioned her Trifix. And I asked her what was her definition of Trifix, when was it added, how was it used? And she said that it had just been added recently and that it was based on having a fixation in each center. Now that went over my head because I was hearing type, not fixation. Kind of went over all of our heads, but they were used like interchangeably at that time because it was a new term and we knew of fixations. But within a few years, well, I had then you added the word Trifix. So everything published came from me as Tritypes and Trifix. So a lot of people didn't realize I was giving Ichazo attribution for the term, but he hadn't published anything, or Eureka hadn't published anything on the concept of Trifix until 2019. And in that book, there are 5 general paragraphs, and there's more in 2 other books. So having said that, I met one of the board members for Eureka Institute at a training on Trifix. It was great. She was really lovely. We had a nice time after the training. She shared with me that, wow, they really were different, not the same the way we originally thought. But what was different is that with Trifix, it's the fixations only. So there are 3 types in the triads, so a type for each triad. And you should know that Naranjo changed from instinctual triads, Oscar Ichazo's term, to centers of intelligence because it was in the public domain, so as to not infringe on Ichazo's copyright. But that did kind of confuse people, so they didn't really know what was being talked about. So having said that, I initially didn't want to confuse people when I thought it was the same thing, that I had just found what Ichazo found, and that is that we used all 3 centers because type 2 and type 7 had no access to the other center. So 2 had no access to a head type, and 7 had no access to a heart type. So balanced it out. So long story short, over time, I started to realize that it was just really all of the work that I was compiling from these ongoing studies, and that it was confusing people. They thought I was teaching Oscar Ichazo's work, and I kind of understood that because I always gave attribution to him for the term. So I thought, well, here I was trying to avoid confusion, but I ended up causing confusion. But I didn't know how to separate it in a meaningful way. But then as we were speaking, we came up by exploring everything with Tritype and Trifix, what became Tritype. We discovered that really he did mean fixation only. and not the passion or conviction. Search was based on the whole type, and I assumed that's what Ichazo's was. So it was like, okay, in 2007, I found something, or we did together. We found an important distinction that would hopefully make it easier in the future for people to recognize the difference between Tritype, the whole type, and Trifix, just the fixations. I encourage people to look into arica.org, ARICA.org, and you can learn more about Ichazo's work. I will say, and seeing him teach and knowing people that went through years of work with Arica Institute, it's incredible. It's not what we think. It's basically a lot different from the modern day Enneagram as transmitted by Claudio Naranjo. But most don't know that. But another glitch came. So in 2007, I changed to Tritype. So we were hoping that'd be very easy for people to just recognize Trifix, Tritype. Yeah, I like Tritype because it makes sense. It's the whole type. Or no, I like Trifix because it's just the mental preoccupation. And I can make a case for both. But I like Tritype because it gives you all the facets. And the dynamic is quite meaningful. But I don't negate one or over the other. It's just my research has been with Tritype.